Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. You have found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle, the place where we remind you that you are not lost, you are not broken, and that you are the light. So, welcome, everyone. Here we are. It's Friday again. Wow, these weeks just like come by so fast, which is
Fly
wonderful
by.
because I love circling up with all of you.
And I'm
Yeah.
excited. There's all four of us here today.
Yes.
Hey,
Awesome.
yeah. Yes, and
I'm glad.
it's December 12th, 12/12.
It's
We're
12/12.
in
Yes.
the
Wow. Yeah. 12,
portal.
12.
Perfect.
Yep.
Are we feeling any portal energy today?
I feel like I'm living in a portal permanently at the moment, I have to tell you. So
Sure.
maybe somebody can jump in and just explain to people, just because my head is all over the place, but explain what a portal is, because some of the people who are watching may not know what a portal is.
Beautiful question.
Oh, good grief. Okay, I'm putting it down because the dog is a
Pam, do you wanna go or Alana?
Um, from everything that I understand, and again, it's perspective, right? Is it's an opportunity for change, for looking at where we want to go, how we want to go. There's magic in the numbers that manifest things. As far as the 12/12 goes, I'm not exactly sure what the numbers mean. Maybe someone else has, the significance of the numbers. But a portal is a time of change, right? We're shifting into newer, wiser versions of ourselves, and it's through these different, what they call portals, that the magic is manifested in a greater way.
Perfect. I love it. Maybe and can you add to that, Alana? We could each add in our own little blurb.
I can add what Google tells me.
Yeah.
I literally just looked it up. I'm like, I'm curious now. So from here, it's like completion, and it's just validating what I already know, but it's putting it into words. Completion's new beginning, manifestation, amplifying the numerological meaning to the number 12, which is spiritual growth and wholeness, completion, right? Peak time to release old patterns, healed emotional wounds, and align to our higher self. Set our intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I find
gateway. It's a powerful energetic gateway for transformation, clarity, and manifestation, adding on to what Alana is saying as well. Also, quite an interesting thing around it being a final cosmic checkpoint for marking the end of the year as we start moving into the energies of the new year. So, kind of bringing, for me, culmination of this whole year of the nine, which we've spoken about before, to it's kind of its accumulation of that whole energy. But I think the portal, for me, my understanding of a portal as well, is it's when there's an opening for us, which makes and allows that transformation to be a lot more accessible. It's almost like you're standing underneath, like you're standing on a light beam, and it opens up this gateway that gives us access to these spiritual energies. And each portal is different. An 1111 is different to a 1212 because it takes on the numerology of each of the numbers. So that's my understanding of a portal.
Ooh, I like it. Janice, anything you want to add?
yeah, well, I'll echo what Angela said, that it amplifies our spiritual connection. Um, and it's an opportunity for higher self-communication. So it is like the veil is thin. And it's an opportunity to have the energies of the cosmos and the universe, like the wind at your back. And
Yeah.
for anyone, it could just be another day. And for those that want to go deeper, it's a beautiful opportunity to get clear on where you would like to go in the soul aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Angela, you're pondering.
I'm pondering. There was something that came into my head and then it went away again. So I'm just waiting for it to come back. Okay, wait. It'll come back. Yeah, 12/12 today. Wow. My book, the whole book arc landed fully, completely. Proposal being written for publication. I mean, to submit it to an editor. So that's my 12/12 portal today, which has been quite amazing. It's called Becoming Me. And
Love.
it takes readers on an arc from becoming me to being me. And it goes through 13, the divine feminine chapters. So yeah, very exciting. And I'm very excited. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit spacey today.
It
It's
is.
okay. You're in the middle of the portal. You're half in the in between.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's out in the
Absolutely.
ethers.
It's a
Beautiful.
beautiful place to play. It really is. And I think, yeah, the connection to the world of spirit, the connection to the cosmos, the connection to whatever it is that you choose to name it, it makes it, these are significant days or markings for us, to be able to expand our consciousness, to grow into more of who we are meant to be and who we are in terms of serving the greater good. So yeah, exciting times, very exciting times.
And what is really energetically coming through for me today is almost like this is the opening of, like, there feels like a really, well, Mary Magdalene keeps coming in, and the loving, divine, pure mother nurturing love. And so it's almost like whoosh, the door opened, here we are. So, really for those that are watching to be able to, sit down and take that in, like receive that energy without expectation, without trying to make it anything or make it mean anything, just allow it to flow in. And it's a beautiful opportunity to do that. And this magnifies and keeps magnifying right through. Is that what you were going to say, Angela? Right through.
I was gonna, we talk about Beam Me Up Scotty from, I forget which space movies it's from.
Star
I'm
Trek.
not, no. Beam Me Up Scotty. We're not beaming up anything, we're beaming down. That was what I wanted to kind of say. So yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of is a good description for me around what a portal is that it's beaming down. And it is, as you're saying, Janice, being open just to receive the energy, not to do anything with it. Today's not about doing anything. Today is
Yeah.
about receiving. And then it's about grounding, because otherwise you'll be like me all over the place. Very spacey. Tomorrow's a
I think that's
grounding day.
I think that's a really
Yeah.
powerful point. Like, as we've all shared our perspective on what the portal is, feel into whatever that feels like for you. It can be one, all, any of these options. And like Janice said, just sit with it. Feel what feels right for you. Follow the feeling that you're being led to, and just trust that that's the right thing for you. So whether it's sitting, whether it's in motion, whether it's just being open to receive, whether it's in conversation and maybe you receive from there, like it could be it could look a lot different for different people. So be open to that.
And that's a really good point, Alana, because even when you're not aware or conscious, as we are having these conscious conversations, it's still going to have an effect. It's still going to, you're in this porthole along with us. So I really encourage people that, yes, you may get your messaging, you may get an idea, you may get a thought that, maybe that's new that you want to explore. These are the moments that these things can come through with a little more clarity and sometimes a little more of an umph for you to get it. Right. So for everybody, again, it's not just about all of us who are being conscious. Sometimes these portholes are helpful for giving you what you need for you to step in to a more conscious awareness.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they bring us a lot of context. When we understand what they are and we understand the numbers and the numerology behind it, it gives us the context to understand a lot more of what's going on around us. And then you can stack in all sorts of other wonderful things like the planets and the sacred geometry and all of those kinds of things. Because there is a whole language to
Mm.
consciousness. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's so
Well,
exciting.
the moon cycles, those are intense times too. I see the portals being even more intense than the moon cycle, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's just another layer or another level.
Mm.
Yeah.
One of the
Yep. Yep.
things that's been coming through a lot for me, and I don't know whether I said this last week or not, was to the message of heighten your awareness keeps coming through. And so that has been very cool to be in that energy this week. So, you know how when you are like thinking of someone and then they call you or you run into them, like those kind of things? That's been happening, well, not happening a lot, but as I heighten my awareness, I become more aware of what I am thinking and feeling throughout the day, and not just letting that pass through, but contemplating it, like just being, okay, I'm thinking about this person, really feeling connected to them in this moment, and then, a message comes through or whatever. But that just intuition heightening is very, very strong right now. So that's a lot of fun. So if you're feeling that, you're not alone.
I love
Right.
those moments when you're thinking of someone and the next thing you're getting a call from them,
Mhm.
right? Those are those magical synchronistic moments that, yeah,
That
just
and I'll explain that a little bit. My bonus mom was in the hospital this past week. She was experiencing a blockage in her colon. And
mm,
it was a day by day. Are they going to do surgery? Aren't they? And surgery is a high risk for her. And they weren't. And then the one morning, and I was keeping her in my thoughts and prayers. And the one morning I was in the shower and I'm like, all of a sudden she came into my mind and I could really feel her. Like it was like I was in the hospital. Remember that feeling of being hooked up to things and that kind of that sensation of being in the hospital. And here's where I went wrong because immediately I thought something bad happened, right? Immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really on my mind. So I got out of the shower and dried off and that and went into my room, checked my phone. Sure enough, there's a message from her. So that she sent the message at 7:04. I looked at my phone at 7:19. So the timing was perfect. But her message was surgery has been averted. It was good. But I
Yay.
automatically thought, oh, it's bad, something's
mm,
wrong, right? So the message of like, don't get attached to it. Just
mhm,
perceive it, feel it, and don't make it mean something because
mhm.
our own brains, our own
Human
experiences
brain, yeah.
gets mixed up in it, right? Yeah.
All
So
these
that
are
was
signs that you're talking about about being present, because when we're present, we don't hook any meaning onto anything
mm,
because we just are with it. It's, part of what you're talking about in terms of heightened awareness is all about being present and being present in presence with the CE at the end. And the more we do that, the less we get stuck into old stories and old patterning. And it's something that develops over time. It's not something that is automatic either.
One of the
Um,
things too is that, like, as you say, being present is the observe, like, say along the same line as the observing of it. And one of the things I heard this morning, it was really interesting, was usually when we're oh shoot, like you I had the thought and then it left.
are you playing
that
somewhere
is
in the
the
ether?
energy.
Yeah, right? It went through
Playing
the portal.
somewhere,
I don't know.
playing in the ether with me.
It was like the observation of that's it. It was like around venting. And it was like sometimes we get in there's two ways we can vent. There's venting to express energy and observe it. But usually when we talk about venting or when we vent, it's usually with people that we're trying to convince to get in alignment with us of like, and in that usually in a negative energy. But it was like And I thought of that today because I was talking about something and it wasn't so much about the venting of it, but sometimes expression of something helps us to observe how we're actually attached or feeling into the thing. So having a conversation with the right person versus like, people that are going to get into energy and alignment of something that may be negative, or somebody that's like in this work, in this consciousness, and it's like you're expressing something so you can be better observant of it. So getting in that observative state to be detached.
Mhm. I love that. I love that
Mm.
because we're communicative beings, and especially not to say this like, but women n- do that. That's how they process, right?
Yes.
We okay. I just need to talk this out and listen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And we get the awareness from it, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's when it
And then
lands.
also, and then we respond instead of react.
Mhm.
Yes,
Absolutely.
And that's the big
totally.
thing.
Well,
That's
and
in,
even dreams. Like if I relay a dream I had last night to someone, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't see that." I
Mhm.
just speaking it out loud brings that awareness, right? Like that Angela's talking about. Mhm.
yeah.
And a lot of times that's what we need as women is just to talk it through and someone to listen,
Mhm.
right? I think human beings in general, but us as women, from that processing aspect, we don't need someone who's all of a sudden going, "Oh, yeah, I can understand. I've been through ABCD too," right? Because it's about active listening in this process so that we can observe ourselves in the active listening. Right? A
Exactly.
lot of people are listening to respond, and I giggle because there's a commercial that I've seen lately where it's like people are talking about their ailments and someone's one-upping them in the commercial, and it's like I've seen that in real life as well, and so communication really is about that active listening as well, so that we're not just responding to what's being said because we're not really hearing, we're not really being present if we're in our head formulating a response already, right? It's that being able to hold the space for someone to be able to vent. And we generally can sort things out ourselves when we hear what we're communicating.
Yeah.
So,
Working as a therapist, there's that element, but as friends, and I want my friends to hold me accountable. Like if they
Yeah.
see that something's off, like tell me if something's
this,
misaligned, right? Because
Mhm.
that whole element of I can have somebody who can be a yes person, but I don't that's not going to get me to the depths that I want to go. Does that make sense?
Doesn't serve.
yeah. And there's something that also struck me in terms of what Janice was saying, being able to, as women, this is one of the ways that we work through and process things. I think that there's also another element, and that is a lot of women don't.
Mhm.
They think that they have to kind of do it all on their own and they try and muddle their way through it. I mean, I know I've done it for a long time, um,
Mhm.
in kind of earlier years, where, and particularly like I am an eldest child, and an eldest child, we have to fix everything. So to be able to actually just ask somebody for help, just even that help being somebody to listen while I work something through, for many people is very difficult to do because we've been taught to be so self-reliant. And that's also part of stepping into a different consciousness and a different frequency in terms of being able to be in connection and in communion with other people, and particularly in women. And that there's so much shame that is being really almost endemically imposed upon women around asking for help. And so that's part of our collective, our individual and our collective healing, is
Huh.
to be able to provide those kind of environments for people to be able to, or women in particular. And also with men, don't fix anything, just listen. I don't want you to fix anything. I just like you to listen. And they very like the, out of love, also jump in wanting to fix because that's what men do.
Mhm. Yeah. That you hit on something that we chatted about in the inner coherence group this week. We've been talking about the fear frequencies within our bodies. And so this week we started to talk about the ancestral fear that is there, those frequencies. And that was exactly what came up for a couple of the women was that stoicism that's been handed down from generations. The just be strong, hold it together for everyone else, be the center,
Mhm.
the matriarch of the family, hold it
Yep.
together and move forward. Like, do not show your emotions, do not show your fear, just, control. Control
Push
is what it is. And
through.
so we
Push
talked
through.
about, yeah, how that is an ancestral pattern and probably something we were raised with. Like, it's a
Yeah.
double whammy, right? So being able to be vulnerable and allow yourself the time and space to process that fear, but just even recognizing that that's what's in you, can be as easy as that recognition, and it dissolves now. It ends now. Like, it's that's a biggie. That's a biggie. Thanks for saying that, Angela.
Mhm.
Well, and it goes back to you had mentioned earlier about Mary Magdalene, and that's what it was funny that you mentioned that because like the same similarly last week, um, a friend of mine and I were talking about like the energy, the divine feminine energy that's coming in right now, and it was actually like there was a channel message that a friend of mine shared with me about Mary Magdalene, um, the mother Mary, and also like Anne, Saint Anne, like Mary's mother. Anyway, it's just this is the energy that's coming in right now for a reason of moving into this like shifting of old dynamics again, going back to our 12-12 portal of getting rid of the old systematic way we've done things and moving into like more of this gentler divine feminine way, and that there's a different way to do things than we've always done it, especially as women, but to create what we're meant to create in the next years to come is letting go of what that used to be and stepping into what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's about creating the balance masculine and feminine,
Mhm.
right? We've been so long in the masculine energies, and now it's the pendulum has to swing the exact opposite, and we're not quite there yet, but I think that it's really quickly coming where it is like we're gonna be in full feminine, and then it's gonna come back and balance itself out,
Mm.
and I think that's really beneficial for everybody to look at the masculine and feminine of self energetically, not, as far as a gender identity, but as an energy as a whole,
Mm.
the yin and the yang. We have to have both. Which one we choose to operate from is completely up to us. Now, when I say that, a lot of times it's unconscious until we bring it to the conscious and we can start to look at, oh, wait a minute. Am I in my masculine? Am I just trying to get shit done? Am I forgetting about that feminine, being willing to be taken care of, for someone to step in and support me? Because a lot of times we do end up being the pillars. Right?
Mm.
As you spoke, Angela, about being the eldest child, I was the eldest. So, yeah, there was a lot of responsibilities that were put on us. And I think it's a generational thing, and it doesn't matter where we are in the world. I think that there are just some things that, as a collective human being, we experience, and those experiences for the evolution of everybody, ourself first.
Yeah, I
And I
saw that
think if we
so
can
much.
start to focus on the self first.
Yeah. Pam, I saw that so much into my dad was also the eldest, and similar issues coming through from having to take responsibility. His father died when he was 21, and his mother, you're the man of the house now. And I saw him do that with my son
Yeah.
when our marriage broke up. I mean, it's neither here nor there, but I remember my father saying to my son at one point, "You're the man of the house," and he could only have been about 8 or 9 years old. And
Yeah.
to confer that kind of responsibility on children is just, it kind of messes with your head quite a whole lot. And then we got to unpack it all and get back to where we were, and that's part and parcel of the journey of life. But it's yeah, this whole question of, it's also knowing when to be in the feminine energy and when to be in the masculine energy. And that's part of that discernment that we start to learn, as to which is appropriate when. And you do it, we do it, as Janice is saying, being heightened in terms of our awareness. The more we're aware of what those different energies are, the more we're able to adjust to whatever is being asked of us in whatever situation we're in, whether it's a whole lot of nurturing and compassion, or whether we need to be more action orientated. We start to learn to discern between the difference, or the difference between the two. And that's what helps us stay in balance.
And asking questions of what other people need as well can help in that process, in the communication, right?
Yeah.
What are you needing? Because that helps us to manage where we want to be, right? When
Yeah.
when you're looking at relationships, no, you don't want to change and just be a people pleaser, but it's like, okay, what is it that you're really needing? How can I show up that can help this situation, right? It's a very different conversation, not a matter of I'm coming in to fix you, but which energy is going to be met and received, right? It's
Mhm.
coming from that kind of angle. So for people out there, communication is really key in where each other are at,
Yeah.
right? When
Big
or if you're in a group of people, where other people are at, and being open to hearing where people are at, what they're ready to receive, right?
It is
What
so
you're
important.
ready to give, and whether it's aligned, because that's a totally different kind of conversation. It's almost like learning a new language for people out there. You
Mm.
know, the old ways are not working and we're floundering a lot, wondering, and all it is opening the doors of communication, asking the questions of what's needed. How can this help? Do you just need me to hold space for you? Do you need me just to listen? Do you need a hug? Again, we all have different love languages, right? So it's
Mhm.
learning people's different love languages so that we can interact and everyone be heard, everyone be understood from that place.
Yeah. Totally the energies that you present will create what comes forward for you. So like for example, if you're in a relationship and you're very much in your mothering energy, then your partner is going to allow you to mother, may come forward as the childlike energies. So, you know, oh man, he never picks up his socks. He leaves everything laying around. I have to tell him what to do. Like, it's like, okay, but how did your relationship begin? You weren't a mother then. You were probably the beautiful, feminine, energy that he was searching for. And so just noticing that and how it reflects back to you. And yeah, and a lot of my experience for a long time was um me saying, "No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't need your help. I don't need that," because I wanted to be independent. And I was worried that if anything happened to him, I would not have the skills in place, being able to take care of myself. But what I realized I was doing was blocking his love, right?
Mhm.
So stepping back a little bit and saying, yeah, actually, I would love your help in this. And I do need some help for this and that. And he loved stepping up to do that. So it was an interesting energetic game we play as human beings. And in all our relationships, not just our partners, but in, you know,
I'm giggling.
siblings.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
reason why I'm giggling is because I don't know whether I'm actually even I wouldn't say capable is not the right word, but the mismatch for me to get into a relationship again. I don't even know that and I'm not negatively affirming this. It's just because of where I found myself in my own life and my own space. I don't know if there's anybody who can match me or match the frequency. And I'm laughing and saying that because it's just been such going from that very needy codependence where I'm not complete without being in a relationship to I'm actually really okay for myself and I can do everything that I need to do for me too. And so
Mm.
that's why I'm having a bit of a giggle because it's how far, when you can able to step back and just see how far and how much progress we make along our journey and do that in the lightness of laughter. That makes such a difference.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what you're saying is where we all need to be before we enter a relationship. Be okay with ourselves, be centered and strong. And you know what? I don't need a relationship to fill holes. So I think where you are is the perfect place because now it's like, well, imagine how much better it could be, how much bigger, the energy can grow. I love that you are independent,
I think back to, and this especially for the younger women who may be watching, or younger people who may be watching. I think back to that 26-year-old who got married. I mean, what did I know at 26? What do any of us know at 26? I
Right.
mean, we talk about making the three most important decisions in our lives when we are still really green around the ears: getting married, buying a house, and having children, without any depth in terms of what all of those things actually mean to us. And yeah, again, would if we were supposed to be wise at 20, we would have had the wisdom at 20. We're not supposed to be. We're supposed to learn and grow. And so everything is exactly as it's meant to be. Everything unfolds exactly in terms of what our life lessons, soul lessons are meant to be for us in this particular lifetime.
So true.
Yeah. Well, I got married at 18,
Yo, if I have to think about me at 18, oh my
right?
goodness.
I was a
Yeah.
child. I was still a child, like really, and not even fully grown woman. And I had a baby at 20. And yeah, so, but blessed with my soulmate because we're still together.
Mm.
Wow.
Choose to be. But yeah, absolutely. We grew up together. And it's been a beautiful growth, but that's not often the case for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Angela, you remind me of me before I met Dale, that element of independence and someone's going to have to come in and really enhance my life because I've got it going on. I can take care of myself. And and then having someone come in and show up in a way that I've never had in my entire life, like support, acceptance, doesn't fully understand me. We're not on the same page, but he allows me the space and the freedom to be me, and I allow him the space and freedom to be him, like, and not go in trying to change. I think oftentimes when you're young, you go on with the idea that you fell in love with this person, but once you're with them, I'm going to change them into this. That does not work for the long haul. Like,
Oh,
it's about
yeah,
evolving and growing, Janice, like you said, together, right? We're not going to grow at the same rate or at the same time, but it's being able to love someone in that growth and understanding that we are all a work in progress our entire life. So
absolutely.
the independence is great. It's very foreign when you have someone coming in and saying, "Hey, I want to show up, I want to help, I want to support." And when you've been independent for a long time, that's an adjustment in itself. It's
Absolute.
foreign.
Yeah. And that brings in the whole lesson
So
of
yeah,
receiving.
it's like,
Yeah. Learning to receive is the next big
yeah,
lesson that comes along. Huh?
absolutely.
We learned so much through relationships. Oh my goodness. It's where our growth is, isn't it?
Right? I
It
was just gonna
is.
say that that's exactly what we're meant to do to expand, to have the opportunity for growth because the people we are with is the reflection of us.
Mhm.
Yep. 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 Yep.
What a great conversation
Mhm.
on
As always.
relationships, divine feminine, divine masculine. I actually feel a little bit. I was sitting here as we were talking about the divine feminine, divine masculine. I'm just going to contemplate new language around that. 'Cause I feel like it's a nice way for most of us to get familiar with the different energies to be able to label it, but it just feels a little off right now for me. Like it's just like, would we just step into full coherence and we are who we are?
Yeah.
That there isn't, yeah. Anyways, I don't know how to put it into words yet. I need to contemplate that.
Yeah, you're
That'll be
talking
this week.
integration. You're talking
Yeah.
integration.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think to get to integration, you got to be able to see what the two different, what the two different
Differentiate.
energies are around, and then we get to integration.
Yeah, it helps with discernment, right? The labels just help with discernment, to be honest,
Yeah.
to get to that place of the coherence and integration. And I think that's the beautiful part that with the four of us right now is that there is a huge element of that coherence and integration that's already happened. Doesn't mean that we're not going to evolve and grow. Of course, we're going to continue to evolve and grow and integrate new things and, new information. But it's that whole element of being able to help people out there understand and discern, right? So the language, I agree with you, Janice, that the language sometimes gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It
But
sometimes
we get
also
stuck in it. It's
puts up a block,
it's
right?
helpful in the
Yeah,
beginning, but then we get stuck in it and it starts to have more meaning than what it's
yeah.
supposed to have. Is what I think I need. Yeah.
It's also about that learning process from being unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent.
Yeah.
Unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent, and from there to being
Right.
consciously competent and then unconsciously competent. But it's a learning process that we've got to be aware of before that integration into unconscious competence actually takes place.
So true.
And that's the kind of energy for me.
Mm.
Words around it, Janice, for me is like unconditional love.
Hmm. I love it. That's
As you were
yeah.
saying that, I was like, yeah, that's unconditional love and accepting us as we are, who we are, as we are meant to be.
Oh.
Walking in the energy of Jesus is how I like to put it, which is unconditional love and acceptance
With
Mhm.
Mary
for all that
Magdalene
is
at
exactly as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Magdalene at his side.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? And I look at that from that unconditional place. Like he went around and he preached and he shared his story. I'd rather say share his story than preached, to be honest. But he went around but he didn't get upset if people didn't follow him. All right, you have a different path, right? Mary Magdalene wasn't you know, how do you put it? The fact that she was a prostitute, people would judge and criticize that. He saw her for who she was at the core of her, the heart, the love, and she supported him in the same way. It's like letting go of all the labels and all the judgments. There's purpose for everyone who's here on this earth, no matter what path they are walking.
Hmm.
And I do genuinely have a love for humanity and really work to break those judgments and criticisms that I was raised with. Not that they were me, but what has been ingrained and indoctrinated. And we all have that we have to work through. We have to break those constructs down for ourselves. What does that really mean for us?
Hmm. Oh
I
my
think that's
gosh.
why we're all
And for
here
everybody, it
because,
looks a little bit different.
yeah,
Yeah.
just going to say, I think that's why we're all here is because that's what we're all here to do is to make the shift.
Yes, that's right.
Mhm.
And find the truth within. So, oh my
Exactly.
gosh, this has been such a great conversation. And what you've just said, Pam, is like that's a whole other session of conversation. I wanted to go into that Mary Magdalene, but yeah, we have to wrap it up here. And any last words, anyone? Are we good?
I was just going to say, be back for the sequel next week.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. We would love if you would subscribe. If you like what you're hearing here, we welcome you to share it and subscribe. And for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in our conversation. And remember that the light remains within you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Blessings
Bye,
to
everyone.
everyone.